It's going to be interesting. Spawning in the top right position as the red Protoss player coming in from Quantic Gaming just took out Puck. It is none other than HwangSin. And spawning in the bottom position as the blue Terran player coming in from Root Gaming, it is drewbie. Just excuse that introduction. I got excited. So drewbie, the other awake Root player at the moment. The players probably, you know, some of the other Korean players that have probably been staying up super late, really focused on, I would assume, future tournaments due to the current standings of Root in the Acer TeamStory Cup. Now, drewbie opening up no wall, not unusual. You guys might not have seen this drewbie play terribly much. He's just kind of been, he has been playing a pretty good amount from what I've been aware of course. He is at the Root Gaming Team House in San Francisco, California as well with the rest of the guys. So somehow him and Puck were able to wake up in time for this match. drewbie throwing down the barracks. Gateway coming up for HwangSin. Nothing really unusual. So if you guys are a little bit curious, you just came to the match, you want to know what has been going on so far here. Well, we've had Puck open up versus Hyun. It was a nice little macro-y game. Puck went for a timing attack with Stalkers, Immortals, and Sentries as he was taking his third base. Was actually able to catch Hyun off guard quite well to secure that first map. And then in the second game versus Center, doing a very interesting Immortal drop to pick off the Tech Lab researching stim, and then following up with a really big attack that Center just wasn't prepared for after holding off Center's Hellbat drops. Then we saw HwangSin win the micro battle on Belshir Vestige to secure that early edge that just kind of snowballed into the Game 3 victory. But now we have drewbie coming in. And if you guys weren't aware, drewbie actually just got, I think it was on Reddit, drewbie got his hair cut. I'm not Wolf, but I think I'm allowed to make hair references. We had, actually believe Sage cut his hair because apparently it's really warm in California. I'm actually worried. I'm gonna be going there in about a week or so, and I don't want to have to get my hair cut. But now you know about my personal problems. SCV coming into the main base of HwangSin. drewbie's gonna see nothing really interesting. HwangSin, he has two pylons in his main base. He started the third pylon, and when drewbie sees this third pylon, he says to himself, well, drewbie, if he has three pylons in his main base, that means he doesn't have any near my base. So he knows there's not any kind of proxy play. He'll still look around a little bit. He wants to keep this SCV around until about the 440 mark so that he can scout if there is an expansion taken by HwangSin. And interestingly enough, HwangSin does see that there's a very fast reactor open for drewbie. What he's done is he went for the standard 12 barracks, 12 gas, and then just went straight for a reactor and built double Reaper. The cool thing about opening up with reactors and then building Reapers before anything else with your barracks is that it actually eliminates the time lost on the reactor. So normally you build the Reaper, it takes 45 seconds, and then you can get your second, well, I shouldn't say it eliminates the time loss, but it lets you get the second unit after your Reaper with super fast. It eliminates basically the Reaper delaying it. Because you have to wait for the reactor at some point no matter what. But if you get it before the Reaper, and you build the Reaper at the same time as either your first Marine or your second Marine, then you don't have to add the additional delay. The delay between your barracks and your first Marine actually only becomes the 60 seconds to build the reactor. But an interesting play to go for the double Reaper, as this isn't going to be able to do a crazy amount. Could poke away at some of these probes. Ooh, HwangSin's trying to grab at least one Reaper kill here. Does get it. And at the same time, there's a probe on the left side of the map. Blink is being researched by HwangSin. It's going to be a one-base blink play. This Reaper for drewbie needs to scout that there's no expansion, and it will. This is such a crucial moment right now for the Terran player. If he can get inside the top of that main and scout out this Twilight Council, drewbie will know what's happening. He will most likely have to forfeit his main base and just get some forfeit his natural. Yeah, forfeit the main. And just get a couple of bunkers set up. This is probably the most difficult all-in to hold from Protoss in the game, at least in my personal experience. So, drewbie, he is immediately going to get these bunkers. I really like this decision. There we go, forfeiting that natural expansion, realizing, yeah, no, I'm not just going to sit here and play Ring Around the Rosie trying to catch your Blink Stalkers. And just adding on bunkers. drewbie knows I've got two command centers. I have... Well, he doesn't have the factory on the way just yet, but he has stim on the way. Oh, no, he's just going to get combat shield first. Okay, so drewbie's playing this out really defensively. He wants to get combat shield. This is going to kind of kill any opportunity to go for a counterattack, but since the upgrade research is faster, it's going to give his Marines a little bit more beefiness. It lets them survive a whole extra hit from a Stalker, which is pretty significant when you think about it. Drewbie just needs to be super careful. This Observer will be able to spot for the blink. Stalkers, of course, it's not the fastest blink play possible, but, well, Drewbie, he's got a nice setup, and HwangSin's just going to look for anywhere he can poke in. We could see HwangSin try to drop in through the bottom half of the main base of Drewbie, which does look like he wants to do. These Stalkers are positioning themselves towards that natural. The Reaper sees the natural start, though, for HwangSin, which means that HwangSin doesn't want to go completely all in. He is going to just try to poke away as much as he can. Maybe pick off this Tech Lab, which would be kind of nice for him. Drewbie can't really do much to defend this. He is going to lose this Tech Lab. He wants to at least start the Marauder, though. I like that he starts the Marauder. He just wants to keep the Marauder production up. Those are the units that are really going to deal well versus the Stalkers. So forfeits that, but he actually isn't going to take... He can't really take too many hits on anything else. Behind this, the Robotics Bay. So this looks like it's going to be a follow-up into a 2-base Colossus Blink Stalker all-in. Because in all honesty, if Drewbie, if this blink play doesn't really do much, which it hasn't, there's only like 8 Stalkers. So after HwangSin had his blink finish, he didn't build any more Stalkers. He didn't want to completely throw himself into this. But this actually puts Drewbie he's in a somewhat okay position. The biggest problem right now for Drewbie is that he got his really late stim and he has a very late factory. So by the time the first Colossus is coming out, Drewbie will be getting maybe his first couple medevacs on the way. And this means that if Drewbie decides that he wants to go for something like 4 medevac opening with the starport, then he's going to find himself really, really low on Viking count. So HwangSin's going to run around. It looks like he might be trying to get into position to go for some blink harass. No concussive shells done yet, though, for Drewbie. So he's just going to try to shove this army back. He wants to keep the threat of a counterattack on the table because there's no Mothership Core on the field. If Drewbie could potentially do some serious damage to the counter before this Colossi comes out. The Stalkers will be able to micro, though, and I think what Drewbie wants to do is just keep the Marauders in front. Once Concussive Shell finishes, he should be able to poke away at these. Third Command Center starting for Drewbie. This man is not scared. He is going to finally start mining at that natural expansion again. And HwangSin's just trying to poke away as much as he can. He has thinned out Drewbie's army a little bit, so he's just doing what he can. Now, this Proxy Pylon is not actually aware that this third base is being built. Otherwise, he could just throw a Zealot there. He could throw a Stalker there and just harass. But Stim, about a minute away. The first 2 medevacs, where are they? Okay, he has not yet begun them. The starport just finished up, though. So protecting this third base could actually become a liability if HwangSin scouts that it's there. But thankfully for him, he has not. I don't think Drewbie knows about this pylon. No. So the counterattack options are definitely there. This Reaper is still alive. He can run in, get a little bit of scouting if it wants to. The first Colossus is complete. Now there's a second Colossus on the way, but no Thermal Lance, which is what really interests me. If HwangSin forgets to get Thermal Lance and engages this Bio Army, there Thermal Lance now finally starts. If you forget Thermal Lance and engage a Bio Army, the Colossus actually only has the same range as a Marauder, which well, Marauders really, really rock versus Colossi. If they can get close enough to fight them, they kill them. The Marauders just kill stuff really fast, kind of like a lot of other Terran units. So second Colossus is done. Third Colossus is now on the way. And I do like that the Mothership Core was finally built to be able to just start banking up some of this energy. +1 armor coming in for HwangSin. +1 attacks about to finish for Drewbie. Now, other very, very tiny thing. It's not super important to know, but I feel like I should mention it, that the upgrades being this close is actually really, really good for Drewbie. Oftentimes we see Protoss players use the Mothership Core to get very fast either double forge or a third base. But since HwangSin went for that early aggression that didn't really do anything, we see Drewbie just kind of in a comfortable, even space. And he has a lot of bio. He is now going to move out that he has a couple of medevacs. But keep in mind, there's 3 Colossi on the field, and there's only 2 medevacs. There's no Vikings. Now 2 Vikings are starting. Drewbie's realizing, yes, I did scout that Robotics Bay. And, well, there's a lot more gateways being added on. It does look like, how many gateways are we moving up to total? Just 6? Okay. Alright, 6 gateways is fine. That's pretty standard for 2 bases. He could go all in off of 2 bases with 6 gateways, though, if he's continuously producing these Colossi. But since +2 armor started, it looks more like HwangSin wants to do something like push out with like 5 or 6 Colossi, like some sort of doomed death push. And Drewbie actually really needs a second starport to handle this because he's so far behind this Colossus count. And with this many Blink Stalkers on the field, if HwangSin jumps in and even kills one, that is going to be absolutely huge, and that's what he's going to try to do. He's going to step up here. Oh, gets one shot off on this. Doesn't kill too much, though. The whole army, those stims for drewbie. He's going to try to chase this down. I don't think he's going to be able to catch much of it. Gets one stalker. He needs to be careful, though. He doesn't have a lot of healing power available. There's only 2 medevacs. He's going to produce another medevac with this Viking, but drewbie cannot afford to let these starports go idle for 1 second. There's 4 Colossi. There's a 5th Colossus coming out. drewbie only has 4 Vikings. 5 Vikings now. This is really tough. You need at least 8 Vikings to start 2-shotting Colossi. And with 5 Colossi on the field, that's still going to take you... Yeah, it's going to take you 10 volleys. By the time you actually kill these Colossi, your whole bio army will be dead. What drewbie really needs, if he wants to be able to win this game, HwangSin's going for a very powerful push. He's going with the +2 armor. He's going with the +1 attack. But if drewbie spreads his Bioforce out enough, he might actually be able to take a fight. Oh no, he cannot afford to lose these Vikings. One of them gets killed. Oh, and this Mothership Core, which can also time warp the bio. drewbie just needs to be so careful. He has a huge Bioforce, so if he gets a good surround or a decent concave, he's actually just going to blow straight through this. But if HwangSin gets even just a couple of these force fields off with this sentry, oh, here he goes. Guardian Shield being activated. The bio is spreading out. Time Warp preventing the bio from spreading. One Colossus gets focused by the bio. drewbie using his Marauders to actually help take these down. That's exactly what he needs to do, and he's going to be able to take out majority of the Colossi. Fantastic bio spread by the Root Terran player, and he's continuing to advance forward. If he gets this Colossus, that could be curtains for HwangSin. He's right on top of these Stalkers, but the Vikings doing what they can. It does look like drewbie stopped for now. But he's going to land the Vikings. I don't know. Vikings not really that great versus Stalkers in head-to-head combat, but he's going to go for it anyway. Focusing down these Stalkers. There's still going to be a couple left. He's using actually Blink Micro. Blink Micro Stalkers versus Vikings. Not something you often see, but drewbie, I think, throwing a little bit away of the edge that he obtained during that fight. The supply is now even. Templar Archive switch is coming in, and drewbie has to make a decision. He's going to go for a counterattack. Is he going to try to kill that third base? The Force Storm is done. Or is he going to just play this out for the later stages, because we do not have even a Ghost Academy, I believe, for our Root Terran. So he finds himself in a position where I think there's even still a Colossus here. There's still a Colossus on the field. Someone just pinged that there's a few SCVs not mining, and there's only 2 on this one refinery. But drewbie, he's doing everything possible. He's in a somewhat okay spot. Oh, Storm's about to finish. There's a couple of High Templar here already banked up enough energy to use Storm. And I think we even have an Archon mixed in. So this is going to be really rough. drewbie scans, and I think he realizes what's going on. I don't know if pushing in is the right thing to do for drewbie right now. Throwing down a Ghost Academy and maybe trying to take a 4th base. He hasn't really been economically assailed in any way. He could try to go back into the drop play and put on a bit of pressure. The natural expansion's a little bit exposed. The main base is a little bit exposed. There's some Stalkers here and some Zealots, but not a huge deal if you give to something like a double drop. Now, this Warp Prism that's heading out across the field for HwangSin, this is where the Protoss player says, I think I'm all right. So, now he's just getting ready to move in. drewbie should see this Warp Prism with his SCV. The question is, will he respond in time? Will he have the units ready? Oh, drewbie's got his units rallied out. This Warp Prism, it's moving into the natural. These guys, he's kind of lucky that there's no Templar in here to go for a Storm drop. But here we go, double drop towards the natural expansion of HwangSin. At the same time, we have the Vikings pressing on that Colossus. That drop does get slowed now, but the Zealots warped in with the 2-1 upgrades. All these SCVs falling apart so fast. Charging through. Half the SCVs in this mineral line are dead, and drewbie's going to try to pull these Marauders and Marines to stop it, but it's, he's done enough damage. HwangSin's killed 17 SCVs this game. drewbie, oh goodness, he is going all in here. There's not enough medevacs. There's not enough space to get this bio army out. Is he just going to try to focus this Nexus? drewbie drops on top of the Colossi. He is going to be able to take them out with his Marauders. So he does stop the Colossi, but he loses his whole army to those Storms, and I'm not sure if that was cost effective for drewbie. He just threw away everything for those Colossi, and now there are more Zealots inside of his third base. HwangSin just dealing so much damage. This Zealot's got 12 kills on it, pretty much exclusively SCVs. And another Zealot in that natural expansion will be taken down, but I don't know if drewbie has enough. I don't think it's possible for him to stop this. His rallied out units getting cleaned up by this Death Ball, and drewbie will be able to pick off that natural Nexus that he dived for earlier. I don't know if it's going to be enough. There's a factory with a reactor in the middle of the field. What the hell is going on? But I think this could be it. Here comes HwangSin. drewbie does have the 2-2 upgrades, which is almost an advantage, but +3 armor is about to finish. These Vikings will immediately get crushed. And he doesn't even need a Colossus at this point to punch through this Bioforce. The Archon is actually quite low on health, but there's just so many charge lots. He can't possibly get through all this tanky goodness. Yeah, I think there's just too much here for HwangSin. Drewbie there's no way he can hold against this push. And now the Templar here, he does have the Storm to help clean up any of these SCVs, any of these additional bio units that try to come out and turn the tide, as it were. But Storm landing on just a handful of Vikings. And HwangSin, he's got a nice supply lead, double his opponent's supply. He's looking so good right now. The Marauder from Drewbie doing everything possible will get sliced and diced. As he GG's, and HwangSin will take this game for Quantic here, storming his own Stalkers here. The Acer TeamStory Cup powered by Intel. Nice play there from HwangSin. He's going to even out the score. Yeah, so we're going to see who the next player from Root Gaming is going to be. Yeah. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Acer TeamStory Cup.